A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a significant and controversial decision, the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, has announced the revocation of its 2009 endangerment finding, which deemed 6 greenhouse gases a threat to public health and mandated regulation under the Clean Air Act. This finding has been the cornerstone for regulating greenhouse gas emissions from various sources, including vehicles and power plants, since its inception. EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin made the announcement during a conservative podcast, claiming this action represents the largest deregulatory action in the history of America. The endangerment finding, established by then-Administrator Lisa Jackson, was based on extensive scientific evidence linking greenhouse gases to climate change and public health risks. The agency's latest move has drawn sharp criticism from environmentalists and scientists alike, who argue that it undermines established science and public safety. Zeldin's remarks suggested that the regulations stemming from the endangerment finding imposed excessive burdens on American consumers and businesses. He stated that repealing these regulations could save Americans an estimated $54 billion annually, allowing for greater consumer choice in the automotive market. However, critics point out that the EPA's own regulatory impact report indicates that limiting emissions could yield over $2.1 trillion in net benefits over the next 30 years, primarily through fuel savings and health benefits. The timing of this announcement raises eyebrows, especially as 2024 was recorded as the hottest year globally, with increasing reports of severe weather events attributed to climate change. Data shows that since 2010, the U.S. has faced $246 billion disasters, resulting in over $1.7 trillion in damages and thousands of fatalities. Environmental experts, such as Robert Howarth from Cornell University, have condemned the EPA's decision as bordering on criminal negligence, emphasizing the growing scientific consensus on the dangers of climate disruption. The Supreme Court's 2007 ruling in Massachusetts v. EPA established that greenhouse gases are a form of air pollution that can be regulated, placing the onus on the EPA to determine their impact on public health. The endangerment finding is critical for enforcing regulations on emissions from cars, trucks, and industrial sources. A former EPA employee who contributed to the finding expressed deep concern over the agency's current trajectory, highlighting the robust scientific foundation that supports the need for regulation. The EPA's new proposal seeks to challenge the agency's authority to set emission standards, suggesting that greenhouse gases may be less economically harmful than previously thought. This assertion is based on a study from the Department of Energy's 2025 Climate Work Group, which has not undergone peer review. Conservative groups have welcomed the announcement, viewing it as a victory against what they perceive as federal overreach. However, environmental advocates are preparing to challenge this decision in court, arguing that it contradicts the Supreme Court's directive to follow scientific evidence in regulating air pollution. The potential repeal of the endangerment finding could have far-reaching implications for the transportation sector, which is a major contributor to greenhouse gas emissions. The EPA's own data indicates that new passenger vehicles emit significantly less pollution than they did a decade ago, thanks to existing regulations. The agency's recent efforts to tighten emissions standards were expected to yield substantial climate and health benefits. As the debate continues, the future of U.S. climate policy hangs in the balance, with advocates and opponents of the EPA's decision gearing up for a significant legal and political battle. The situation underscores the ongoing conflict between regulatory measures aimed at combating climate change and political ideologies favoring deregulation. As the nation grapples with the realities of climate change, the implications of the EPA's decision will likely resonate for years to come. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.